Whoa, my cat's going crazy. She's happy. He's happy. I'm sorry. So, guys, sorry for the screw up in the chat. It was laggy. It seems a little bit smoother right now. I don't know, not too much maybe, but yeah, I feel like Josh Allen. I don't think it's a stretch to say he was the best player on the field today for either team. He instantly ignited what had been a stagnant Bills offense. I mean, up until the last time they took the field with Matt Barkley, and that was that seemed to be an anomaly at that point. But the offense made a good account of itself today. 24 points against a defense of that caliber. You have to take it. Obviously, you feel like there was more there on the plate, and let's just get this out of the way right now. The referees. It was just it became so bad to watch. It became so bad to watch. Yeah, Trevor, a tremendous amount of energy. He seems to have an innate leadership about him. Very fiery guy. He definitely is not shy or bashful about letting other people know. And especially on that Jaguars team where we remember last year during the playoffs, they had a lot to say. They put a lot of hot sauce on some hits, particularly to Tyrod Taylor, the Bills quarterback at the time. But yeah, the team, it was a terrible. Ed Hockley was bad, but Walt, that crew was deplorable. It was it that one stretch where it was all on the Bills. It was 3 straight 5-yard penalties. The one sequence where it was a run, I believe, to Ivory, then a pass to Logan Thomas, which was negated, a long third down. I think there was a penalty, and then there was a long third down that they converted to Isaiah McKenzie on the left, and then that was negated. So it was terrible. It was terrible. Some drops. There was one by Kroom, one by Deontay Thompson. Would have been a big play, but overall, Allen, I felt like looked great. He infused a lot of energy into the team, as Trevor alluded to. I mean, his ability to run, they weren't bashful about him running. He did not look scared. He didn't look tentative. And that's one thing you watch for a young player coming back from an injury, any kind of injury, particularly one to the most valuable part of his body, his throwing arm. There was no hesitation in any ounce of his game. He ran. He threw the ball with a lot of velocity. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Corey, on that, because I just don't see they can throw him on IR. They could throw him on IR tomorrow. Oh, and I believe he does need to get down a couple of times. I will say that there's some couple of runs of like, just practice getting down. There was a couple early he did, and then there was a couple early that he didn't. I was just later that he didn't. I was like, okay, just time to. But you don't want to take that aggression out of his game. You don't want to try to taper him off. You don't want him playing scared. The defense, I mean, Milano is just always Johnny on the spot. That guy, you know how there's just guys that just score touchdowns? Like Julio Jones has a hard time scoring touchdowns no matter, how great of a player he is. Matt Milano is just always around the ball. If there's a ball in the air, there's a ball on the ground, you're not going to not find Matt Milano like a foot from the ball. He's going to be there. He's played tremendous. And what do you want to say? Leonard Fournette, if he did the Bills a favor, that's on him. The guy ran off the bench all the way across the field to throw hands at Shaq Lawson, who obviously took offense with it, threw back at him. They get ejected. The stupid officiating crew or the security isn't smart enough to escort the guys down the tunnel at different points in time. They tried to take them down together, and of course they want to. Shaq was pretty intent on trying to continue what they had started on the field, but ugly situation. I like the fact that McDermott right off the bat. He's not going to be disciplined. We want that. We don't want our team being pushed around. Good. I don't want fake tough guys. Like I felt like the Rex teams were a bunch of fake tough guys that did a lot of talking, not a lot of acting. I just feel like they looked like a little sluggish coming off the bye. They didn't look like they had a lot of just getting back into contact and stuff. It was irritating to watch them just run down the field so methodically. But there was a couple of drives. I mean, to jump out to a 14-0 lead too, and to blow that lead, that was particularly irritating. But they never lost the lead. Jacksonville shot themselves in the foot with penalties. Blake Bortles is Blake Bortles, and there was Jacksonville buying that fool's gold at the end of the last year's playoff run. They thought that there was something there to be had, and there obviously isn't. Yeah, there was there was two throws in particular that he stood in. Obviously, the one to Foster is the big one. And he hit Foster right in stride, and he got crushed. And see, that's the difference between Josh Allen throwing the ball in the pocket, standing in, and in a Tyrod Taylor deep ball. There were two different types of deep balls. It was Tyrod was dropping back, and it was gone. Nobody was getting near him. He stood in there, waited for it to develop. He crossed the safety space. The ball was gone because 75 yards. It's a longer developing route. And he got hit, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful, one of the best throws you've seen a Bills quarterback make in forever. And the running ability, you knew he was an athlete, but I think people need to start, and that's just going to open up other things in the offense. It's just going to open up more and more components of the offense. They need to get some talent around this kid. I mean, little players like Isaiah McKenzie are nice. Maybe Deontay Thompson could add a couple of things. Maybe they might have something to Robert Foster. Maybe they might have, a guy there that they don't have to go spend money on. I don't want to hear about that, Corey. You can save that. Everybody's playing with backups. Everybody's got injuries. I don't want to hear those excuses. Yeah, just everybody has injuries, dude. That's a cop out. Yeah, they could be guys. I mean, I think they'll hang on to them, but they could be guys. Maybe they're guys that you don't have. I think what they're getting from McKenzie now is what they envisioned getting from Ray McCloud. They envisioned Ray McCloud doing what McKenzie's doing for them now. But how many sacks did the Jaguars have? None. It's not their problem, dude. It's not their problem. I mean, you want to sit there and apologize for their injuries to try to explain away a performance or not. You're gonna. What do you want to do? You want everybody to come in 100%. It doesn't happen. I don't know what your gist is in trying to talk like that. Yeah, the kid looked good. The quarterback, you could just tell the physical difference, the offensive difference, the way he plays. You could see just the passes that are attempted. The ball, I don't recall a pass not going over 5 yards with a lot of zip. A lot of zip. The arm talent is you could see it through the television. You could see it through the television. Yeah, Edmonds with the nice tackle. I was on Fournette. I did force a punt, and I think I don't know if the touchdown to Foster followed, but it was a nice open field tackle on that play. And you look at this Jacksonville team. How did they go to New England and just blow out? I mean, they put it on the Patriots pretty good. I believe back in week 3, this team was 3-0, and they just like the Dolphin team. The Dolphin team was 3-0, I believe, and they got Tannehill back and they lost. But to see these kind of wins with your rookie quarterback, they're enjoyable to watch because you saw flashes, you saw glimpses of what could be, and everybody will look at the stat line and say that we didn't see any inaccuracies yet. I saw some drops. I saw throwaways. There was one pass in particular over the middle. I think it was late or early to say. Was incomplete. Didn't turn the ball over. You're going back with these scripted things, bro. If plays are scripted, then teams don't score because teams make adjustments. Teams make adjustments. People make plays. There's professionals on the other side of the field. Jacksonville's defense has how many Pro Bowlers on it? Defensive unit, cupcake unit. He was making plays on over there, bro. So I don't know if you think what do you think Nathan Peterman would have done against that Jaguars defense, Corey? It wouldn't have been. It would have been pretty. It wouldn't have been pretty. You know, if you just want to downplay everything the Bills do when it's Josh Allen at quarterback, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, are you a Bills fan? Do you want to see the team do well? Do you want to see him do well, or do you want to nitpick or try to extrapolate everything negative, or try to find a silver lining and just spin it negative? I don't know what the end game is. There's no point in being a fan if that's the mentality. You're supposed to enjoy it. You know, I'll come in here and be negative when they lose, and the team. There was some shitty plays today. The run defense really pissed me off, and it was irritating. And yeah, what's up, Matt? Yeah, he looked the whole Trey Ray. You were a big Peterman supporter, bro. It seemed like you needed a chance. So I'm going to go back to that. Oh, the Trey White behind the official today was epic. That's like the scene of the season. That was the scene, and the penalty, was on them, and it was just like they were just poor. It was just, yeah, he showed plenty of progress. I thought that he was decisive, and when he wanted to run, he ran, and when he wanted to throw, he threw. So, albeit that as it may, they played well. They won. They made the plays on defense when they had to. They seemed to get galvanized by the whole thing that happened at the end of was in the third quarter with Fournette. And the Jaguars shot themselves in the foot. They're the ones who went backwards with penalties, who, you know, Blake Bortles. I mean, they could have put Cody Kessler in, and arguably would have had a better chance at winning the game. Doug Marrone's offense is just that. He wants to run, punt, play defense, and hold on to the ball. I can't believe he missed that one sack on Bortles, where Bortles broke out and he ran for a first down, I believe. But it was like he had him dead to rights. He even had a chance to knock the ball. And you know, again, let's pump the brake. I don't know. You know, then there's Browns rooms to talk about, bro. There's Browns rooms to talk about. There's Browns rooms to talk about the Browns if you want to go do that, bro. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I mean, if you want to stand by a guy who is the worst quarterback, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know why you root for the Bills. Do you root for the Bills or do you root for the other team? I don't know. But yeah, McDermott he didn't want to hear anything about any discipline for Lawson. He didn't want to hear anything about he was all about them defending themselves, defending each other, because I think they were all pretty well aware of how Jacksonville is. Marrone seems to like running a chirpy bunch and not a very disciplined bunch. And I remember those 14 Bills, and they did get some dumb penalties. And I'm not the Bills. They came out with some undisciplined play, but this reffing crew was terrible. They were flag happy. They were awful. They wanted to ruin the game. It could have been a much better game. I don't know how the hell he got blood on himself, but it was just like he was losing his mind. The mic was on. You heard him saying something. I have to rewatch it to make it out again. I think one of the media guys said verbatim what it was, and I missed it, but he had blood on him. It was a scene. It's the scene of the week in the NFL. You're going to see that on eyes, but you're going to see Josh Allen highlights. You're going to see him throw. You're going to see his runs. You're going to see a few of his passes. You're going to get to see that. So that's exciting to see. And he is a 7th overall pick for a reason. And if you want to doubt his talent or his ability, you know, I mean, I wasn't the biggest supporter of him prior to the draft. I left every video up. I didn't delete any of them. I didn't delete any of my tweets. I wasn't the biggest Allen guy. But he's showing why that he was purported to be as high level of talent and a potential 1st overall pick. I mean, he was the 7th overall pick because he looked really, really good. Yeah, Shaq's been playing well. I think any kid who comes into the league their first time, they're nervous. Who goes into their profession first day, first year, and is the best? It takes time at any position, let alone quarterback. Again, he's a rookie. And he's not a rookie. Allen's the rookie, but he's a 3rd-year player, and he looks like he's finally found his niche. The scheme is better. Yeah, who fit in Rex's scheme? It was like if you were bad, you didn't fit Rex's scheme. Just that guy. I like to edit out the 2 years he was Bills coach. I really would. Even Marone's time. I just want to edit those. I'd rather look on the Jaron and Gailey years as opposed to those years. Those were bad times. Hopefully Teller's the guy. I mean, this game was weird. The offensive line, like with the penalties, was tough. They didn't get mauled. They seemed to hold up in pass protection. Shady seemed to get some runs going late. Ivory, first game back. I mean, this is a tough. The Jaguars defense is no joke. I believe what is their rank in the NFL? Like they're up in the top 5. They're not an easy team to move the football on. They're not an easy team to score on, and the Bills. I'm anxious to see what their rank is in the NFL. So I'm going to look it up while I talk to you because I should have done this prior, and because I know it's up there. I know it's up there because they're a stingy bunch, and they're going to go out there and they're going to back up their shit talk. I mean, Jalen Ramsey. I mean, you had the Bills on Twitter account trolling Jalen Ramsey after the game, talking about what happened with that pick, the pick that didn't happen. Trevor, they're number 3. They're not, it's not like the Bills got handed a cupcake. Like the Bengals, who Baker Mayfield threw 4 touchdowns on, and they almost blew that game. I mean, it's a team that's given up almost 500 yards in the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks straight. So, I mean, again, if you want to try to like spin numbers, we can all spin numbers to make us fit our narrative or whatever. But you know what? Like Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen had a tough go of it today. Only scored 10 points against a Chargers defense. I mean, Josh Allen put up 20 against that Chargers defense. Oh boy! Again, it's just come on. Let's just let these guys be rookies. Let them develop. Let them try to become the next future stars of the league. But my focus is Josh Allen. I care about Josh Allen being good. I don't care about another team. Fear bunkers and all this bullshit about another team having a good player. That's a coward's mentality. Did he start at guard or did he go in for John Miller? Because I think John Miller started and he got hurt and Roy went in for him. Or I didn't know if he had gotten benched or what, but it was apparently an injury. But yeah, the offensive line needs work. They need some skilled players. We know this, but we'll see how it shapes up these next five weeks because it was encouraging to see them turn it around. And they put up 24 points. I mean, before last game against the Jets, what was they weren't even scoring double digits. It was terrible. Was he benched, Joe? I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Yeah, the left side might be good. They need a center. Yeah, it's Larry Fitzgerald. He has David Johnson. I mean, but he's still a rookie. I give Larry Fitzgerald a lot of credit. He's played with some bad, and he hasn't said a word. Larry Fitzgerald is the ultimate professional. He's the ultimate professional. If there was ever a wide receiver that was the best and wasn't the diva, and he was just even Julio for an extent, really. Julio, I mean, he had a little holdout, but Larry Fitzgerald, man, what a class act. Yeah, Bodine's a backup. I mean, obviously their idea was to have Wood and Incognito in there. They didn't sign Eric Wood to a contract extension, to knowing with that neck injury. I mean, people want to knock them for the O-line. The only person that they willingly got rid of in their mind's eye was Cordy Glenn, who had been replaced by Deion Dawkins. I mean, Incognito went off the rails. Wood's hurt. Dukas switches positions. Seemed to be better at right guard. Mills is steady. Mills has been steady. Mills, yeah, Fitz is an all-time great, man. He's a great player. He's a great player. Remember that catch and run he had against the Packers? I mean, who are playing right now? Great player. But yeah, they need a couple of starters on that offensive line. They need to invest in free. I mean, I don't want to see them go. I know they have a lot of money, but I want to see them spend smart too. I don't want to see them doing an Andrew Norwell contract type thing like the Jaguars do. Yeah, Mills isn't horrible. He's serviceable. I believe he's serviceable. Like if they re-signed him to a 1 or 2 year, I wouldn't be pissed about it. It wouldn't drive me crazy. Could they upgrade? Of course. So, yeah, Tyrell Williams looks to be about the class of the wide receivers, Matt, and he'd be a guy I'd like to see them go after. And also Tyler Lockett. I think Tyler Lockett scored a touchdown for Seattle, made a couple of big plays in the game prior against Green Bay. He's a speed player. So hopefully they can look to add there. But tight ends, maybe Kroom's a guy. That's why it's important these last 5 games. See if any of these guys are players. See if Foster's a player. See if McKenzie's a player. See if Kroom's a player. See if what Logan Thomas can do. I mean, scored a touchdown. He had some juice. I think he caught one pass, but he should have had the other one. Got called back by a penalty. Yeah, they definitely need some skill players. Yeah, he needs to go. I mean, just a player like Charles Clay is always going to be known for the whole contract thing, like how he initially came to the Bills, where he's a transition tag guy. The Bills match it, or they sign him, and then they finagle the deal so that the Dolphins will have a hard time to match, or they drag their feet and they don't match, and he signs with the Bills, and he just always seems to get hurt. He just always seems to be hurt. I mean, I hope free agency allows that. I hope they're good enough to where they could pick the best player, whether it's offense or defense. I don't want to see them force it. The best offensive players, the 2 best offensive players are 2 offensive tackles, and then maybe some wide receivers. You know, the quarterbacks are going to get pushed up. We know that. We know like a Daniel Jones, a Drew Lock, those guys will go much, much higher than they're being purported right now. So hopefully they can get, a chance to get a as good a player as they can because of the quarterbacks getting pushed up. And we'll see what the record shakes out. Maybe they got a couple more wins in them, which would put them at 6-10, maybe 3, 7-9. And we'll see how it shakes out. I'm not interested in Rashad. I'm a Jersey guy, and I'm not a big Rashawn Gary fan. Ed Oliver seems to shit the bed. Greedy Williams, though, is Tre'Davious White's cousin. Just put that out there. If they want to trade down, fine. But these draft picks are like lottery tickets. They're only good unless you hit. And yeah, I mean, there's tons of examples every year about why you don't draft running backs. I mean, in the first half, you could say Leonard Fournette looked like the 4th overall pick. I mean, there's so many examples. I mean, Connor Williams was a 3rd. James Conner, I'm sorry. And he looked solid. Played great today, but still he seems to have made the Steelers want to move on from Le'Veon Bell, who wants the King's ransom. Um, there's tons of options that they have, but the offense obviously needs to be upgraded. Corey mentioned the interior defensive line. I mean, depending on if Kyle gets injured, stays around, but I still think they need to add somebody there. And in the secondary too, you can't have Lafayette Pitts and Ryan Lewis being your cornerbacks. You need to have it. They don't have a great offensive line. Reuben Foster's a solid player. Marcus Gilbert's hurt all the time. Pouncey's solid. Villanueva's solid, but it's not. DeCastro's about talent-wise is the best player, but he's always hurt. And it's once a running back's work happens once he gets past 2 yards. That's when his work happens. And when you make guys miss and you can play in space, that's what counts. It's like Emmitt Smith never not got. It wasn't his offensive line. He would run guys over. He would stiff arm guys. He could make guys miss in space. But again, back to the Bills. So they have a ton of work to do. Hopefully, these last 5 games avail something good more on Josh Allen, obviously, than anything else, because it's all about him. Players are going to come and go. Offensive linemen, skill players will come and go over the years. If you look down the litany of great quarterbacks they've thrown to a plethora of wide receivers and handed off to tons of running backs, had countless offensive linemen in front of them, and they're the one constant. So to me, watching these games, it's Josh Allen, Josh Allen, Josh Allen. So I mean, Kelvin Harmon's another wide receiver to digress that's in the draft. Hopefully DK Metcalf's neck checks out. He could be a top overall pick, not a top overall pick, but a highly picked wide receiver. N'Keal Harry, A.J. Brown. So there's wide receivers that could come out and hopefully, Paris Campbell made a nice. I mean, everybody on Ohio State looked like they were blazing fast against Michigan. That's why, like, when people talk about Michigan players, they look slow. And Ohio State has high-level recruits with NFL caliber kids. Not to say Michigan doesn't. And he just, I don't know. They look like a day late and a dollar short. And I'm honestly like very few times can you put me and Corey in the same boat. I'm like, you want to draft running backs, you start around the 3rd round. If you want to start you look in the 3rd. After that, if you're not going to draft one, you just go into undrafted free agency. Like it just. 3rd down is where you start looking at your running backs. I have no interest in using a premium draft pick on a running back. Even in the 4th round, you could start there, because I think the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd should be reserved for O-line, wide receiver, cornerback, and then you can kind of work from there. Yeah, Paris can't. He made a hell of a catch and run. Is that the guy who pulled away from every Michigan defender? Like, he caught the ball and literally just ran away from every Michigan defender. It was like he was had two gears of nitro that he just burst away from everybody. He looked like he was playing on a different speed. Yeah, he smoked and ate himself out of the league. That's sad. Because he would be. I mean, if this would be his last year under contract, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, this would be his last year under contract with the Bills. He would have been a nice piece to this offense, but the guy he just didn't. There's guys like that in the league, man. It's unfortunate. We see it all the time. Look at Reuben Foster. There seems to be some better wide receiver talent this year as opposed to last year, better wide receiver depth, and talent. So we'll see. I don't want to give him excuses. You got to be smart, man. You got to be smart. This is your livelihood. You got a bunch of kids. He had like 5 kids. You can't make excuses for the guy. Yeah, he ate himself out of the league and just smoked. It was just sad to see. Reuben Foster, he does what he does, even though he plays for another team. It's still glad the Bills didn't make that mistake. But hopefully they make a lot of right decisions. But these last 5 games are going to be fun, provided Josh Allen stays healthy and provided we see him build on what he did today. I felt like he shined. I say he shined because he played a high-caliber defense in his first game back, and he made some signature plays, and he was the best player on the field today for either team, and he's the guy who makes the Bills' offense look palpably different with his ability to run, his ability to stretch the field, because defenses, irregardless of the Bills' wide receivers' majority lack of ability to get down the field, there's a few guys who are better at that now. They have to respect his arm. They have to respect Josh Allen's arm because they know he can put the ball downfield quickly, and it doesn't take much. And now maybe they'll take notice of his running a little bit more too, but hopefully that flips the script. It opens up some more things in the passing game. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I hope they did. I hope they came in and helped them, because if they do, that's the way. Because it's like Frank Reich and Jim Kelly. Frank Reich always knew Jim Kelly was more talented, even though there was segments of Bills fans that, because Frank was such a nice guy and people loved Frank Reich and everything. They would like, oh, make Frank Reich the starter over Jim Kelly. But he knew his place, and he always was the first guy talking to Jim on the sideline. He would always be in Jim's ear on the sideline. And it was really good. Hopefully they have some good chemistry. And somebody asked me in the chat room last time the Bills played at the end of the Jets game, if they IR Anderson can travel with the team. Even if they IR Derek Anderson because of the concussions, he can still travel with the team. It's at the team's discretion who travels with them, or is on the sidelines and stuff like that. Generally, even players on IR who are in rehab and stuff stick around the facility. They're in meetings. I'm sure he would stick around till the end of the year. So we'll see. We'll see how that unveils, because that's a roster spot that looks like it's just kind of in limbo right now. I mean, if the guy hasn't cleared concussion protocol after 4 weeks, 3 weeks, it's a little unnerving. So hopefully he hopefully he clears the protocol. I don't want to see a guy in that physical state, but I don't think there's much out there that they could add, and they're going to need another corner. I said Lafayette Pitts went in with a head injury. They were down to 3 corners, but they knew that the Jags weren't going to throw the ball all over the place, so they only had 4 corners up on the game day roster. Hopefully Pitts checks out okay. Ryan Lewis will probably be active next week because they'll be facing a Dolphins team that'll probably be throwing the ball a lot more than what the Jacksonville Jaguars were today. Hopefully Daboll looks like, provided Allen's there and there's some better, you got to see him with some better talent, but he looks like he can do some good things when there's enough capable bodies there, which is good. And on the creativity scale, I feel like he's a lot more creative than most Bills offensive coordinators have been in the past, but he's got a high level talent to work with the quarterback, so that makes it look better. Yeah, Blake Bortles is just so bad. He's a slightly better version of Trent Edwards. I don't know how to explain anything about him other than that. Like he reminds me so much of Trent Edwards. It's scary. Yeah, Shaq gets a game ball. He galvanized the team and took out their best player. So hats off to Shaq. He did a good job, and I'll be the first one to admit that. That was a he didn't make Leonard Fournette run off the bench across the field and attack him. He didn't do that. So that's on Fournette. So don't make excuses for him. I'm sorry for a short and sweet post game, guys. I had some something come up earlier. I meant to jump on. I had to attend to. Wanted to jump in the shower. I hadn't after the gym, so I just sat down and watched the game. Filthy. I didn't care. But you guys are great. Thanks so much. Even you, Corey. Damager, Joe, Eric, Trevor, Chris, Matt, all you guys who steadily come in, you know who you are. You know who you are. You guys who come in all the time and just, enjoy the games. I mean, enjoy these wins and kind of help each other heal from the losses. But Joe, also, you were in here blowing up the chat tonight, which was great. Brought a lot next Tally. Well, Tally was a linebacker. Shaq's an end, but hopefully we get Trent and just the way they play. Let's just put it that way. The way they play. They're just very conservative and just seem scared of. I don't know. You don't want a quarterback who's scared, and he just looks like his coaches are afraid to put the ball in his hands. Obviously, they only had him throw 18 passes or whatever, some very low number, and the passes the ducks that he throws. Oh my God! Like watching Josh Allen throw a pass and watching Blake Bortles throw a pass. It couldn't be more polar opposite. All right, guys, have a great week. You're going to enjoy your week. The food's going to taste better. The sleep's going to be better. It's going to be deeper. And you're going to have an amazing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then it's on to the Dolphins. Have a great one, guys, because that's what Bills wins do. They make everything feel better, taste better, look better, including ourselves. All right, guys, have a great week. Take care. Go Bills. And hopefully they get another win. We'll see more good things next week against Miami. Take care, guys. Go Bills always.